Okay, it looks like we have the majority guests, so I'll get started. Hello, everybody. This is Major Gaines. Welcome to the SNOPT. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the slides for today. As you know, every day I do an email out to select groups just to give a daily brief of what's going on around the world. And then at the end, I culminated into an assessment. And this is the assessment for this week. Eventually, what I'm trying to do is move it over to a common operating picture. And as I've said before, part of the issue is that you don't get a full site picture of the entire information environment. One of the issues is that if you're relying on the media for your information, is they spike and focus on key hot issues. Like right now, Afghanistan has been eating up all the airwaves. So part of what needs to happen is, one, to go through the entire global assessment, and then two, go country by country and review what's going on with each nation, and then add that in to get a fuller information comp. And then what I'm finding is that's also not enough, because then you've got to culminate it into a central score of some type. I'm looking at maybe stability, and saying that like 85% of the globe is stable, 15 or 5 or whatever it will be, is what's unstable, and here's the issues. Matter of fact, I was just listening to Freakonomics. They were about the struggle with media reporting and people getting pulled into all the negativity, and then they're trying to figure out how to assess the information in a bigger picture, just like us. And that's what I'm finding, is it needs to be in a larger context. And this is, I'll show you real quick. This is what I'm talking about. This is an Excel file that has all the data from the IMF on global stability, and also then I add in updates from the information environment, and that builds towards global assessments. I'll scroll down real quick. Here's all the countries and their 10 years worth of data on stability, and then on the other side I put key issues from the news. And then let me zoom down real quick. I know this is a little dizzying, but like Bolivia, that was not in the news, but it did have some interesting things going on. The Janine Áñez was in jail she was accused for massacres in Bolivia. She tried to kill herself. It's a major issue in South America. It's one that Southcom and our South are going to have to deal with in their relationships with them. So I wanted to show that things don't always pop up, though they are critical. So that's the info copy that I'm trying to build. Here's a quick summary update of what it'll look like when it goes into a common operating picture for a country. Matter of fact, what I'm using with that Excel file is a program called Power BI, and I'll pull that up. And what this does is it takes all that information from the Excel file, and it shows you, where in the world the country is, where the level of political stability, key notes going on with it, its daily COVID. And then what I also want to do is put in some kind of indexing on level of stability of that country. So let me show you a couple more. Well, Afghanistan is a good one because we've got so much news going on with it right now. The reason this has gone up is because, the political stability was terrible and the governance was terrible. So now it's zeroed out because the Taliban have taken over the country. So anyway, so this is how we're trying to build the global COP. And what I can do then is I update the Excel file. I then refresh this, and it helps build it out. And then I'll have it by countries. So people can break it out, check it out. And then I'll have global issues of what's going on around the world. And then I'll have like a summary box that talks about how it all fits together as an assessment of information itself. So that's where I've been working this week. The biggest challenge is it takes 2 hours a day to update the daily news, and then it takes the whole week for me to update the information.
Jack, this is Jess Dawson at ACI. Have we thought about, and I hope this isn't a stupid question, but have we thought about, putting out a small, grant call, and obviously this depends on having some money to say, you know, we need data visualization folks to figure out how to automate this and visualize this with open source available tools like Python or, you know, existing things.
Yes, and it's part of what I'm trying to do is go through the NUG work so that then it can be automated. The challenge is, you know, if there isn't someone that's out there, you know, shoveling coal and mud to figure out how it should look in the end,
yeah,
then, you know, you've seen them. You've seen these Gantt charts and line charts and link analysis that's just a mess. And so what I'm trying to do is at least apply it in a daily practice through a weekly assessment and then build that greater COP so that we can then say, okay, you know, this is what we're missing, and then build it out a little further so that we can evolve some kind of a model that we can then automate.
Yeah, okay.
One of my arguments also is that PAOs need to learn how to do analytics at this level and practice it so that we all can provide that, you know, in support of things like operations, or, you know, if there's like an intelligence brief on something, we can bring in the information environment and make it a collective brief that supports what they're doing and show the rest of the picture. So that's how it should be working. And I saw we had a question, so I'll jump on that.
Yeah, no, I was just going to chime in talking about the PA approach at the Information Advantage and using this to inform our communication planning, and then go back and, you know, conduct the analysis after the fact, so we can, you know, change the frequency, duration, and timing, you know, as necessary, and then, you know. But this is kind of where it starts, and this is what we need to begin building that approach, so we can use, you know, the analysis and the information from here to really start the ball rolling.
Yeah, and that's the key challenge is building that baseline that we can work from, because at some point we'll have to, you know, once we get a baseline of understanding, we then you know, we have to start forecasting and looking at future issues with plans and operations. We had one more.
Ron.
Oh, hi, Ron.
I was wondering, we actually started working on a similar capability with respect to pulling information into Power BI and then creating a dashboard. My question is, are you getting live data out of the information environment? Or the way ours took shape was, it was a sample of the information environment pulled into Power BI based on key terms and you know, things that we populated to go and search that and take the snapshot over.
There was some, and what I used, like the data from the IMF that showed 10 years what the government stability is like for each country, I pulled down. But the information side, I have not cracked that nut to where I can get filtering, an auto search and filtering to be precise enough for what I'm looking for. What happens is I get an Arendon alert that just fills my inbox with crazy amounts of data, or a meltwater update that's just, you know, across the universe. And I've not been able to build filters for the current media analysis tools to pare it down. And I know it's possible because when I was at UCOM, we had, what was it called? Ensemble, which is a Rockwell Grumman data aggregator. And it would pull, you know, like if we were looking at Syria, we would pull all the social media in Syria, and then that was coming out of Syria, and then we could break it down into quick filters that focused on whether it was a humanitarian issue or it was a military issue. You know, it took an enormous amount of data and it pulled it down, but you still needed that analyst then to go through, you know, a large sum of updates and then figure out what it is that needs to go in. So there's still going to be that human need that goes from, you know, the data pool to the Excel file. All right, everybody, I am going on vacation for 2 weeks. And so I will see you in September. Have a great day.